FatDag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
Cheers. I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. I believe in you. I say that all the time, and I want to make sure that you understand I actually mean that. And we're going to get into it in this episode as to why, but in the first email, we're going to dig deep into how I believe in you. This is episode 265. Thanks for being here. For those of you joining us live on Facebook, live on live on Twitter, and live on YouTube, thank you for being part of the community. Everyone else, you can catch the replay on all those platforms. You can also listen to it in the Wise Advice app. If you don't already have the app, get to your app store and get that. But let's go ahead and open this show up easily with Hanna. Hanna joins us first out of Santa Rosa, California. She says, "Dear FatDag, hey, I finally decided to write in because you said on the show for maybe the 50th time that we don't need to wait until we hit goal to write in. Well, and that sometimes what we have to say might resonate with someone enough to help them. I guess it took 50 times to sink in, but here I am. I apologize in advance for a long email. It turns out I had a lot to say, and I just needed to send it before second-guessing myself. I started my Weight Watcher journey, October 2018, in a very low place. I have struggled with my weight since college, but even before then, when I was at a healthy weight, I hated my body. Like many, I've dealt with depression, binge eating disorder, and body dysmorphia for much of my adult life. When I really started gaining weight, I started to spiral. I didn't weigh myself for a long time out of pure fear. When I did finally weigh myself, I was disgusted to see that in less than a year, I had gained about 50 pounds, and I was officially weighing in as obese at 210 pounds. Years passed, and I tried what felt like a million different times to lose the weight, but I never got far. I would starve myself and then eat pounds and pounds of food, regularly eating meals well over 4,000 or 5,000 calories. Not that I paid that much attention, but finally, in 2017, I started making progress. I had a big vacation to Indonesia that year, and the thought of having to wear a swimsuit in my current body horrified me enough that I made it further than I ever had. Mostly by calorie counting, under 1,200 calories a day, and always starving. I lost almost 30 pounds, putting me at 179 pounds at my lowest, but then I just couldn't do it anymore. My vacation came and went, and I just lost all of the motivation. I lost the same 5 pounds and gained it back over and over again, and then almost a year later, I found myself back at almost 200 pounds. It felt like I had fallen back down into a hole, a dark pit of self-hatred and disgust. I had failed myself so many times that I could not imagine believing in myself enough to try this again. Not that I would even be worth it. Luckily, I have an amazing and supportive man in my life who loved me enough to keep me somewhat sane. He saw how unhappy I was, even though I tried my best to hide the true depths of my hatred and disgust for myself. He saw it in the way that I scouted any picture of me, my reluctance to leave the house, and the way that I hid in baggy clothes, desperately trying to hide my failure. With some encouragement, I finally got some help. I started seeing a therapist who specializes in disordered eating and depression, and that helped me a lot. I eventually got to a place where I was ready to try again, and desperate enough to try something new that my therapist suggested: Weight Watchers. I signed up for the program and I read everything on the app that I could find to get more information. I was terrified and excited. Excited because once I learned more about it, it seemed like something that could actually work for me. The plan was flexible and it was just like a budget for food. I love budgeting and best of all, I could still eat cheese and bread. But terrified because I felt like if I'd failed again, I would never be able to rise out of the pit again. I just knew that if I fell off the precipice of hope that I was on, I would go in deeper than ever. How could I ever believe in myself again if I did fail? What kind of weak, horrible person must I be if I can't beat this? But I gathered myself up and I began. And I loved it. I could eat until I was full, and the program taught me how to slowly eat like a healthy person. And by some stroke of luck or fate, a kind Weight Watcher commented on my very first post and recommended your podcast. And I'm forever grateful. Since that day, I've listened every day, except for the weekends and the days that I don't, and it has made all the difference to me. Listening to yours and everyone else's stories have kept me so inspired, focused, and hopeful. You, FatDag, a total stranger, believed in me before I could believe in myself, and it has changed my life. When my mind was filled with negativity and pain, I could not physically tell myself anything kind, loving, or helpful. You were that voice for me and for so many others. You have talked many times out to your wingmen who emailed you every single morning with a message of inspiration and hope, and you have become that person for all of us now. I am the luckiest person in the world to have had so much support from my loved ones, the therapy, the Weight Watcher community, and you. With these new tools to help me in my journey, I am now officially at my lowest weight since I first became obese. I just hit my 10% goal, and I'm going to hit my goal weight this time. I am at goal mentally, though, and my body will certainly catch up soon. And the best part of all of it is, I know that even though I am the luckiest person in the world to have all of this help, I did this. Somewhere along the way, I fell in line with everyone else and I was able to believe in myself. I know now that I can do anything that I want to do, and it has made me much happier than I could have ever imagined. There is so much more I could say about this feeling, but as you know, it is impossible to describe. So, of course, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to you and to everyone else who has helped me get to this place. You have changed so many lives, and I know you will continue doing so. And to anyone out there who is struggling and feels that they don't have any hope, I hope that you can find support, that the support that you need to find what is inside of you and all of us. Resounding strength, astounding beauty, and the ability to do anything you truly want. You are loved, and you can do this. Sincerely, Hanna. Hanna, awesome job. Way to put this thing into words in a way that we all get it. So congratulations first on your 10% weight loss. I'm a firm believer that if you've hit a 10% weight loss goal, you can hit any single goal you want. Nothing changes. We don't give you a new plan. We don't give you new tools. We say keep doing what you're doing, and it worked. And so I ask a lot of people when they've hit, a 5-pound loss or a 10-pound loss or a 10% loss, I say, were you 100% perfect to get to this point? 100%? Were you accurate on every single thing? I've yet to have someone say yes. And so what that proves to me, and it proves to everyone listening, is that if you have hit a 10% weight loss goal, if you've hit a 5-pound weight loss goal and you did it a little bit imperfectly, keep doing it the same way. The same imperfections prove that you can do this. Certainly there are times when you can tighten some things up, but the reality is you don't have to be perfect. You just got to keep going with it. So congratulations on 10%. That is a great accomplishment, and you are 100% right. You did this. No one did it for you. This was all you. You had some help along the way. You had someone reminding you along the way. But the reality is when people remind you, when things remind you, it's a moment of you having to get that reminder, but you've got to act on it. And it's kind of like, you can listen to the podcast all you want. And so after listening to a 30, 40-minute episode, you're done. You walk away. 20 minutes later, you still have to make the right decision. It's not me walking behind you saying, don't do this, do this, do that. It is 100% you. So I'm glad to see that you absolutely have owned it because you are responsible for your success and you get all the credit for the success that you've had to this point, including getting yourself mentally at goal. The scale does catch up. I promise you that. So congratulations there. Back to the beginning, I want to say thank you for writing in. We'll say it for a 51st time now that, write in. Folks, I think what we want to do is we want to have this amazing celebration when we get to goal. And so therefore, everyone is waiting until you get to goal to send in an email. But the reality is think about your own journey. You needed inspiration along the way. So if this podcast was nothing more than I hit goal, I hit goal, I hit goal, I hit goal, as awesome as that would be, there would be people that would quickly tune out because they go, well, that's not me. That's not me. That person doesn't know what I had to deal with. That's not living my life. So we need to know everything that's going on that someone else can go, yeah, me too. Yeah, wow. And so you went through all that and you still are a success? Okay, then I want to keep going. That's why I encourage you, no matter where you are on the journey, take the time right now. Shoot an email in to onair@fatdag.com and share your story. It does a couple things besides what I just mentioned. It's very therapeutic for yourself. I've heard so many people saying just hitting send releases a weight. And so if you want to use it anonymously, certainly just let us know. You want to keep it anonymous, but whatever you need to do, we will certainly be here for you along the way. So keep up the amazing work. One of the things, it's funny, we talked about, the different times that you've done different plans and whatnot, and saying that you got to the point where you're just eating 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. I remember those days and they're crazy when you look back at them. And, I look at one of my favorite meals is about an 89-point meal. And I know for a fact I've had it for lunch and dinner on the exact same day. More than once. And so when you start looking things up and you start tracking them accurately, that's when all of a sudden your brain starts clicking and go, oh, no wonder I was overweight. So interesting enough that happens to all of us. So keep up the amazing work. So let's go back to your trip to Indonesia, right? And so this happens to a lot of people. A lot of people have a trip. They have a wedding. There's something significant in their life. And so they use that as their motivation to lose weight. And it works, right? There is a very strong why into I don't want to see myself in a bathing suit on my next vacation, so I can motor myself through. Now, what happens along the way is the vacation comes and goes, the wedding comes and goes, the graduation comes and goes, the high school reunion comes and goes, and you lose the motivation at the event, right? So many people have tried to lose weight for a wedding, and at the wedding, the wheels on the bus just fall right off. And so what I want you to do is I want you to figure out two things. If you have lost weight for an event, if you say, I want to lose it for a trip, I want to lose it for a wedding, or whatever it is, and you are able to do it, perfect. What we have to do, though, is we have to understand that we have the ability to do it. We have the proper motivation. We just now need to find the right why. There's nothing wrong with using an event like that as a little bit motivation, but you've got to dig a little deeper. You've got to figure out the healthy side of this journey. You've got to figure out that this wellness piece that we talk about all the time, that's what the true prize is. Living your best, healthiest self is far better than any vacation I've ever been on. And so that's what I want you to get to. And I want you to dig in and find out, why are you doing this? For real, why are you doing this? Not just for a vacation, but truly, what are you trying to accomplish out of this journey? You can do this. So keep up the great job. And so you've done amazing work. You clearly you've had focused. I want to rephrase one sentence in there, and then we'll move on here. But you opened a paragraph and you said, "I've failed so many times in my life, I couldn't imagine believing in myself to try again." I didn't read that when I was reading your email before the show. What I read was and I read it. Of course, I read that you said I failed. I'm like, actually, I don't see that. What I see is you've succeeded too. And so I want to focus on all the times that you've had success, right? And a 5-pound weight loss is success. A 1-pound weight loss deliberately is success. But what happens is we see that, we lose that, and then for some reason it doesn't stick around, and we instantly say it's failure, but that's part of the journey. So I want you to refocus your brain and your mind and say, I have succeeded so many times in doing this that I just now want to continue down that path and succeed again, and again. Keep up the amazing work. And so here's where your success is coming from. The therapist and you talked about joining WW. You read all the program materials. You got very excited. You became all in. You got to the point where you said, I'm doing this. And that motivation is very, very, very powerful. So keep up with that. Use that as your motivation to keep going. Reread your why, revisit why you're doing this, and finally get to the point where you say, I'm doing this. Get rid of the negative energy that says you're a weak, horrible person, that you can't beat this. No one beats this. No one. This journey is not beatable. It's manageable. There's a complete difference in those terms. You cannot beat this and you're going to be instantly cured for life, and then you go back to the way you live in, and it doesn't work that way. For the rest of your life, this is something you're going to have to manage. Now, as you build healthy habits, the management becomes more natural. But you're always going to have some sort of management. So to think that you're a weak, horrible person because you couldn't beat this, it's not beatable. So get rid of that negative energy. Know that this is program management. This is budgeting for food, just like you said. And for the rest of your life, you're going to have to budget your food balance. Right? It's no different than your money. You just can't go spend willy-nilly as soon as you get to, you pay off one debt and go, yay, we're done, we're debt-free. And then you go rack it all up again. It doesn't work that way. So it's the same concept. So I totally believe in you. I believe in every single person who wants to do this. I tell you why I believe in everybody. I opened the show with this thought. This journey is difficult, but it's doable. And so what I notice is, especially after I started digging deeper into the podcast, there have been so many people who have some incredibly tragic things happen in their life, and they make it through it. And so in my own journey, I didn't believe at first I could do it, but I did it. I'm just a regular guy, and we're all just regular people with regular lives and regular jobs and crazy things that happen, but we're able to do it. And so when I finally figured out that I wasn't a superhero, and that everyone else who did it were real people and they weren't superheroes either, I finally said, not in a disrespectful way, but I started saying, that person's no better than me. I can do that. I can open a phone and type in whatever it is I'm eating. I can stop eating points when I'm out of points. I can learn to adjust my food intake so I'm not having to go to bed at 2 p.m. because I ate too many points for lunch and I don't have room for dinner. So you got to get to the point where you can absolutely just manage your way to a lifetime of success. Hanna, you're clearly on your path. You're mentally dialed in. You're mentally at goal. Keep doing what you're doing. Build the healthy habits. Revisit your why, and you will find whatever success that you're looking for. I promise you. And thank you for writing in. I'll say it one more time. I believe in you. Without a doubt, I believe in you, and I'm glad to see that you're coming around and believing in it as well. Out of Bellevue, Nebraska, Deanna writes in. She says, "Hi, FatDag. Hey, I'm Deanna from episode 226, and I just thought I would give you an update. Since you featured me on the show, I've been consistently tracking losing 15 pounds. I also have a new non-scale victory. Now when I go out to eat on Fridays, I look at the menu ahead of time, and I know the points so I can order better things. Well, here's an example. I went to Olive Garden for my birthday, and I ordered from the Mediterranean menu instead of what I normally would order. It was only 9 points, instead of 33. You continue to encourage me every step of the way, and knowing that you believe in me helps me believe in myself that I will get to goal. Thanks for all you do for the military and for us, Deanna. Deanna, congratulations on this amazing, it is a great non-skill victory. So it's part of the program. It's one of the things that we always say is that you got to look it up first, right? Nothing is off limits. I will never, ever say you can't have this or you can't have that. That's not how this program works. I will never say this is off limits. What I will say is you have to look it up first. You have to make a decision. Does this align with my current goal or not? And am I okay with that in the moment? There's no such thing as good food versus bad food in this journey. There are certainly things that align with your goal. There are certainly things that push you closer to goal. And there are things that make it more difficult for you to reach there. Now, on the same day, depending on your situation, right? One day this food could be, could not align with your goal, and the exact same food weeks later in a completely different scenario could be the right choice. That's what's tricky about this journey, is that every single day you have to make a decision. Is this worth it? Is this pushing me closer to my goal? Is this what I want to do? Yes or no? But by looking it up first, it gives you that little bit of accountability, and it pauses you for a second to go, okay, 33 points. Is it worth 33 points today? If the answer is yes, track it, move on. If the answer is no, then we open the menu and we look for things and we start making changes. We say, I'll have this with no that, and I'll have that with no this. You can do that. Planning ahead, as Tracy chimes in and says, that is the key. It totally is the key. So, when I saw this on Connect the other night, and I thought it was fantastic, is there are people that, they plan ahead, and then they make plan A, B, and C because they've been to a restaurant with plan A in mind, and they get there and say, I'm sorry, we're out of plan A. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, then forget it, just bring me everything. So when you go in with a plan, have a backup in case your first choice isn't available. More often than not, a lot of times a restaurant will say, I'm sorry, we're out of that tonight. Especially if you go with a whole group of WW folks who all ordering the same thing. So congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Getting to Olive Garden on your birthday, a 9-point dinner, I think that is a huge celebration. And it does stem from the fact that you believe you will get there. And because that you believe that you will get there, then you are now making choices that will help you get there as well. So Deanna, thank you so much for email. It's a great one. I was very, very excited to see it when it came in. The last email for tonight comes in from Kelly out of Sarasota, Florida. She says, Dear Mike, today is my 1-year anniversary with WW in the wingman community. I netted a 1 pound weight loss. Yes, that's correct. I lost 1 pound. See, I had actually lost 17 pounds initially and I gained it back. Then I lost 4 pounds and I gained 5, up and down, back and forth for 1 whole year. Yep, a full year, 1 pound. In many ways, I feel like a fraud participating in the wingman community. I'm in the group every day. I listen to a podcast every day, except for the days that I don't. I listen to episodes on repeat, and I've heard them all at least twice. I enjoy all that this community does, and it motivates me until I lose focus. See, WW is doing its job. The wingman, they're supporting me. And FatDag, yep, he's an awesome voice both in my ear and in my heart. So why 1 pound? I don't know. Well, I kind of know. I lose focus. I give in to temptation. I put me last instead of first. I like sweets. All things that are not excuses, they're just reasons. So I thought I could look at this 1-year anniversary in one of 2 ways. One way, well, I'm a failure at this. Why do I keep pushing? Seriously, I just need to just let this part of my life go and be happy with my body as it is. It's a beautiful body because it gave me an amazing daughter, so it's done its job, right? My husband will love me anyway, right? If I live to 60 and not 90, that's okay, right? I will like me anyway, right? Bring on the freedom from tracking and caring about what goes in my mouth. That bowl of ice cream is good before bed. Grapes, not so much. I'm done. I'm 54. I'm fat. And I'm me. Goodbye, WW. Goodbye, Wingman. And sadly, goodbye, Mike. The second way, though, to see this as an anniversary. I had a net loss of 1 pound. I didn't have a net gain of 1 pound or 20. I have successfully maintained my weight. I have a food plan to follow that I can live with that has the flexibility that I need. I have wingmen now. I have a guy named FatDag who does an outstanding podcast. I have a positive role model who have done it. Heck, I've done it. I've exercised more. I ran. I walked a 5K. I've conquered nighttime eating on some nights. I know that I plan to run a 5K in Tampa in August with FatDag and friends who I've not even met yet. I was hit by a car on my bike, and other than some therapy, I am fine, and I will ride again. How lucky am I? I would like to live into my 90s. I would like my husband to wrap his arms around a small, healthy waist. I would like to see a grandchild in 10 years or so, not too early. I would like to sit on the floor and play with my dog. I would like my students to see an educator who walks the talk and has the self-discipline to do the work. I cried today. A lot. I thought of this letter. A lot. I'm going to choose to see this anniversary the second way. I'm going to press on. I will participate with my wingmen. I will follow the plan. I will increase the blue dot days. I will move forward. See, the only other option is going backward, and that's just not an option that I can accept, and it's not who I am. I lost 1 pound. One. About 60 or 70 to go, but I lost 1. I can do that a few more times. Thanks for taking the time to read this, FatDag. Thanks for being a voice in my ear, a thought in my brain, and a feeling in my heart. Kelly. Kelly, I am so tickled pink and proud of you for this amazing mind transformation. You took the time to analyze way more than a lot of us have, and you've figured out that there are 1 or 2 ways to see this, and you've chosen the correct one. I'm very proud of your 1 year anniversary. I'm glad that 1 year into it, you are down. You weigh less you weigh less now than you did a year ago. The number is largely irrelevant. What matters is the transformation that you've made, and you've started with the most important piece, and that's your mindset. You can't do much more than completely change your mind. And once you've done that, then everything else starts falling into place. Now, I as we read your 2 different options, or you had, option 1 way to look at it, option 2 way to look at it, I'm not even going to talk about the first one. I'm not even going to go there with you. What I want you to know is the second option that you've written out is the one that you're going to work with. The second one is what's going to bring you towards victory. You got to figure out all of the things that you're doing correct and do more of them. Now, listen, I understand completely about the lack of focus. That's the hardest part of this journey, right? And so here's going to be a tip that I'm going to give you. And so it's not easy, but you've got to write down your goal. You've got to write down what you're trying to accomplish, and you have to find a way to remind yourself often. You wake up in the morning, you start off on fire, then suddenly in the middle of the day, life comes at us at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And we have to adjust on the fly. And so as life's coming at us 1,000,000 miles an hour, and if we don't have a solid plan to back up on, we're simply allowing the opportunities that show up, and we're trying to make decisions when we're at a point where we probably shouldn't be making decisions. So what I want you to do is find a way to stay focused. Set a reminder on your phone if you have to. Find some sort of a mental cue that, when you sit down, for dinner, when you sit down, anytime you sit down and take a bite, the first thing you think of is am I doing this? What is the goal? What am I trying to accomplish? Again, like we said on the earlier episode, is that, a good choice today could be a not so good choice tomorrow. It may be not aligned with your goal. But back and forth is a choice that doesn't align with your goal today, could be the exact same food, could align with your goal tomorrow. But what I don't want you to have to do is rely on your willpower in a moment when you weren't prepared. So a lot of people have very good success meal planning for this exact reason. And they know that, hey, I already know what I'm having for lunch tomorrow. And in my case right now, I know what I'm having for breakfast in the morning. I know what I'm having for lunch tomorrow. And I'm probably pretty sure I know what I'm going to have for dinner tomorrow night already. So as things come up tomorrow, I already have a plan to go, no, I'm doing this. And so if something in that lane falls through, different story. And at that point, you certainly do have to rely on your willpower, but let's start with a plan going forward so that you don't have to completely wing it across the course of the day. Take your points, divide them by 3. It's the rule of thirds that I talked about on an earlier episode. Take your daily number, divide it by 3. And so even in a moment where you have to make the best of what you can do, just use about a third of your daily allowance. And at least try to stay in that framework with it. That kind of at least get to the point where you're like, okay, I at least know that, if I get 30 points a day, 10 for lunch, 10 for dinner is about right. So a 20-point lunch is not going to work for me. So have that sort of framework that you can work in. But what I want you to do is I want you to celebrate all the amazing things going on. You got an amazing husband. You got an amazing family. You have an amazing journey. You have an amazing life. You have an amazing 1 year successfully thinking about taking care of you. For a full year, you thought of taking care of you often. Congratulations. You've made yourself the priority. Now we have to take the plan, put it into action, find a way to keep yourself motivated, find a way to keep yourself reminded. The Wingman community, for those who don't know, the Facebook group, thewisewingman.com, get in there. You can join into the Facebook group there. There are plenty of people in that group that would gladly help you with that accountability piece. And so it's just a matter of saying, okay, I'm going to post every morning for lunch. I'm going to post every morning before breakfast. And just check in around your mealtime and just simply say, I'm here. What can I do? And how can I be successful? But I want you to lastly, I want you to focus on again all the things that you're doing right. You ended your letter with saying you lost 1 pound. You did it deliberately. It didn't happen on accident. You did that. Congratulations. Do it again. That's it. Don't worry about, you put maybe 60 or 70 to go. I don't even go there. What I say is you lost 1 pound, lose 1 more. That's it. Let's make it 2. Let's make it 3. And just add a little bit here and there. But when we look at the overall picture of a 60 or 70 pound weight loss, that's a lot of work. And that's not really the goal. The goal is to do exactly what you did, is to change our mindset. The goal is to get healthy. And when you change your mindset, when you get healthy, and you clearly have written it out, so you have this in you, and that's really where the victory is. So you've changed your mindset, you started eating healthier, and then the body says, well, if you're going to do this to me, I can't carry around this extra weight. And your body starts shedding it. Crying today, I think crying is the best part of this journey. When you get to the point where you finally break down and you're writing out your why, and you're thinking about your why and you cry, for those of us who have that emotion built in, it's incredibly powerful. Because at that point, you figure out, I am worth it. Right. You're absolutely worth it. So press on. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep jumping in the Wingman community. You are not a fraud by any stretch of the imagination. You are completely normal. And we're going to help you and believe in you and get you to wherever it is you want to go. Celebrate the exercise. Celebrate the fact that you ran and walked a 5K. Celebrate the fact that on some nights that you've conquered your nighttime meeting. Repeat those actions more often than not. And when I get to Tampa, looking at August, right? When I get to Tampa for the international tour, we will certainly jump up and down and celebrate. Continue to do the amazing work. And thank you so much for writing in. Folks, what is it that you're celebrating? Celebrating in this journey is the best part of the journey. There are so many things to celebrate. I want you right now, I want you to find something every single day to celebrate. Every day. And so at first it'll become easy. 7 days into it, 10 days into it, 20 days from now, when you're still finding something every single day to celebrate, you're going to have to dig deep. And you're going to start celebrating things that you before wouldn't have even considered as a celebration. And you add up all of these celebrations, you start building healthy habits around them, and you've completely changed your life. So let's go ahead. Let's share all these on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the Wise Advice Podcast link, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. But number two, like we said as we open the show, there is someone listening right now who needs to hear that their journey is doable because your story proves it. That's the power of this community. That's the power of working together and really in recognizing each other and having the strength to share the incredible lives that we live and the incredible success that we've had despite some of those things that we've had to live through. We've changed our lives and we're doing it. Folks, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. On behalf of my producers, Heather and Lisa, we wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.